Hello and welcome to Sassy as Fuck, the show all about software as a service. I'm joined by my lovely co-host John McGreevy.
Hello.
What was that? Was that too?
No, that's fine.
Oh, and I'm Alex Redford, but I
And
don't
you're
matter.
Alex Redford. You
I
do
don't matter
matter
at this point.
I think you threw me off by saying software as a service. We say SaaS so much on this podcast, but in case someone's coming into this, they're like, wonder what sassy as fuck is, wonder what SaaS means. I think they've spelt sassy wrong. It's a play on words. Software as a service, which is where you pay monthly for software, is SaaS.
Yeah.
And so sassy is a play on that. We should have probably explained this 12 episodes ago.
I like to imagine that they're in episode 13 and it's not been explained as software as a service.
They're gonna talk about what this means soon.
yeah. 100%. Yeah. Oh. But speaking of sassy as fuck,
yes.
I'm going to segue. I'm being professional. I have no notes. I'm really worried because John's actually provided notes for this one. So
I'm a professional, you know, Alex. This is.
Oh, I don't.
People always seem surprised by this, but I am a professional. I have notes. I've got a pen. I've got a really nice notepad with like gold on it and stuff. It's, you know.
Have you ever been tempted by it? I see it a lot on YouTube because I look at desk setups, just to yearn for more desk setups. And there's a lot of ones where it's like, oh, it's made out of mangrove wood, hand-shaped and etched. And it's a to-do list where it's just a little bit of paper that you pop on. And I'm like, that's worth £300 to me. That's worth it.
I think this is the thing, is that I fluctuate wildly between you don't need to be rich. I just need to be comfortable, have the freedom to work when I want, where I want.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, I'm like, I want all of that shit where it's just like needlessly expensive because it's like made from an old tree that was harvested 600 years ago, and these are the last few bits of wood from it, and so it's been the paper has been hand shaved from it, and then the last branch has been used to craft a little stand for your pen. And I want that so much, despite the fact that I know when I get it, I'd be like, this is not worth it, no matter how rich I am.
Yeah. There's kind of like I know that this is meant to be good quality, and I know I'm meant to use it, but I've just been distracted by the next thing, which has got a copper plate on it, and you can etch away that copper plate, and it's even fancier.
And this is why, and this might be an ADHD thing, but this is why I don't understand why billionaires exist, because I would never get to that point because of all the shit I would buy on the way. Yeah. I'd be too distracted just buying random cool-looking shit all the time. Just, I can't go on Facebook Marketplace because I would buy an old car without having any money to buy an old car. If I had £1 billion, I'd buy every old car I saw on Facebook Marketplace. It'd be chaos.
But it'd be really cool at the same time. I've never ever purchased anything on Facebook Marketplace because of that reason. I think it will open the door into the flood of random pointless purchases. I would buy broken things, saying it's okay, I'll repair it, and I will never get to it. And so just to go back, I did a segue, then I got distracted and I went on a tangent, and
then we both doubled down on the segue immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Sassy as Fuck has been around. We're a staple now. We've been around for 3 years. We've released 10 episodes, 12 episodes. We've gone to the double digits, which we'll joke about, but it's actually quite good for a lot of podcasts going on, really, because often they hit kind of like a 6 episode hump, and then they just kind of drop down because it's not as exciting. We've done that, but we've come back.
I think on average we're nearly quarterly.
That is, yeah, and it's not for like consistency. It's not like we're consistently quarterly. It's just
no.
We're just so poor at the quality of just releasing, or the quantity of releasing. The quality is fantastic.
The quality's great. The problem is that we then get distracted, like we just did before, almost immediately. So your segue. So we've been doing this for many years. We've done very few episodes. Carry on.
And we've become a name. We've got a brand, and then something has happened. It was a couple of months ago that we had a chat about this. We had a conversation. I think you even posted on LinkedIn, but most of our listeners probably don't care about you enough on LinkedIn to have noticed this. I do, obviously.
I mean, harsh but fair.
To be honest, actually, as an aside, and we're probably going to cut this bit out, you're doing quite well on LinkedIn, and I'd love to talk about how you're doing that, because it's actually quite interesting, because you're actually providing a lot of content. I think what you're trying to do is just anger people enough for them to respond, and you're like getting engagement, but
it's not quite clickbait, but we'll get into that, and that's also on the list, by the way. Well,
is it? Okay, cool.
There's a degree of, LinkedIn is on the list of things in my notes, so don't worry about that. But you were going a different direction just then.
I was. So we've got a cult following. We've got 2 people that we're aware of that do listen actively.
Actively
listen. Hi there, Luke, Jesse. My wife doesn't listen to it. She is.
Dan does. I also, by the way, firstly, Jesse, my wife, does not listen to the podcast. To be clear,
does she not? Okay,
she is not. Luke does, or at least did. Dan is probably our most avid listener. Hey, Dan.
Okay.
Shout out, love you. And then probably not the same. This is probably was your mum. Is she not? Is she unsubscribed?
She might do, yeah. She might have said that the language is a little bit too much for her, and then I would have felt like this kind of like emotional guilt from that, and you know.
So we've actually lost.
We're actually losing.
Audience.
Yeah, I think it might be we might need to increase the frequency of episodes, which I'm sure is another show note point, because we're actually doing a relatively decent job with our kind of social content. So I digress again. Holy moly. I'm really sorry. Whoever's listening to this point, you're in for a ride, because I think this is going to be 4 hours. We've resisted small talk in all of our previous episodes for the intro.
We have to get it all out the way here. This could be a part 1 and 2. We could have. Yeah. This could be a 2-episode marathon.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. Put your fluffy socks on, get some popcorn,
strap in, pour a whiskey out, glass of wine.
Yeah. Maybe just like, well, you know what would be the worst thing is if you popped it on as your kind of like your nighttime thing, you go to sleep, you wake up, and then we're still talking. I think that's
you're
the point.
You're still trying to get to the end of your segue.
I'm still trying to get to the end
after 8 hours.
Yeah. I got a message on WhatsApp, and it was by you, and I think it was along the lines of, "Have you seen this?" And I thought it was something that I sent over to you a while ago of like a design.
Yes.
But I would love for you to explain what's going on and what's happened, because I think they're still active. I'm worried about any kind of lawsuit that might go and happen. But you're like, fuck it, who cares? I'm gonna double down on this. So,
well, to cut to the chase, somebody's stolen our podcast. Somebody is, some arsehole has.
Whoa.
What?
I still want to invite them onto our podcast. I want it to, because I think that the perfect response to this is for him to go on our podcast, and then when he or she invites us to their podcast, we just decline and leave. We just say, "Oh, it's been great, thank you."
Well, I see. I was on board with that, and then he stopped replying to my emails. So I'll go to the story. I'll explain what happened. So, yeah, we could have relaunched beginning of this year, our Lord's year 2025, and. Sorry, I should have said that while you're taking a sip, and I apologise for timing of that. We relaunched, and so I put it up there, and we changed providers. We started hosting on Substack. Go to substack.com/something to subscribe on there.
Oh, do we have
it'll be in the show notes. We've got a link, but I don't know what it is, so cool. We'll just put it in the show notes. But in below, I think it's automatically put in like Spotify in the show notes anyway. It's like follow on. Pointing as if you're listening. If you're watching this, it's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I went there and I just went, okay, I'm just making sure that the podcast went on to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And so I went on, I searched Sassy as Fuck. And 2 podcasts, well, actually 3, but that's, so ours came up twice because I'd fucked up the configuration. But then also there was this other imposter. Yeah. There was this third or second Sassy as Fuck. And they're called Sassy as Fuck. The logo said Sassy AF, but the name of the podcast on the thing is Sassy as Fuck. I was like, what? And God's green earth is this? And my initial panic was, fuck, did this already exist before we started? Did I miss this in my research? No, that's not what happened. what happened is that somebody else launched a podcast called Sassy as Fuck this year.
Okay.
I'm just putting up the details now. And not only is it the same name, which, sure. And people have said this, and I appreciate that maybe somebody else is not as clever as me. It took them many years longer to come up with the name Sassy as Fuck. It's a good name. People like it. We're complimented on the name a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe they coincidentally came up with the same name. And then, they did no research or due diligence to make sure they hadn't stolen the name. So that's bullshit on their part anyway. But the thing that got to me the most, and that we both kind of had that realization, is that the logo has a striking resemblance to our first logo.
Yes,
so when we first launched 3 or so years ago, our logo was a black background with like pink and blue neon writing saying Sassy as Fuck and a picture of a microphone. Yeah. Theirs is pink and blue neon on a black background with a neon microphone image. It's slightly messed around, but it's the same logo effectively. It looks like just a different iteration of the same logo.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. They've just stolen the name, stolen our old logo. I sent him an email, this guy, Aaron Gibson, thinking benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. You give them some fairness at least. Yeah.
Jessie, my wife, was very much like, come on. Clearly stolen. But I was like, benefit of the doubt. So I messaged going, hey, just so you know, you've started this podcast. We've already got it. And his reply was basically, I didn't know that. Ours is just Sassy AF, so doesn't matter. I'm like, But I couldn't be asked to argue. But I was like, fine, he's going to change the name to that. He didn't change it to Sassy AF anyway, so it's still called Sassy as Fuck on all the podcast places.
What a monster.
The logo is still our old logo, and it's just still there. And he'd done like 4 episodes, so it does mean he will have overtaken us in about 4 months.
That's true. That is true.
We need to stay ahead of him. We can't. I think we lose the high ground if he overtakes us in number of episodes after launching 3 years later.
That's true. There's a few things about it that's kind of like that struck me. One, it feels as though it's motivated the both of us to create more content and actively try harder on the podcast, because we're kind of like, it's a bit of fuck you energy. It's like we're both trying to do the same thing, but we're both just aggressively just trying to. We could just do more episodes. We could just like double down on it, which in part I've enjoyed. We're able to create more stuff, and it's great. But another part of me, it really hurt, not because that somebody copied it. I just felt so unoriginal. I felt like, somebody else has got it. Oh, he's got the same designs and all that. I was like, Like,
I mean, luckily our logo now, that one that you created, is fucking amazing. It's so much better than what we had before. The one before I just kind of threw together in Canva using a template that obviously he found too. And so I don't think that was the best logo in the world, but now our logo is really good. I really like it. It's cool. So that's the thing. But I agree with you. The problem is now when you look at it, people go, there's 2 things called Sassy as Fuck now. It's like, it has the implication that we both had the same good idea, whereas it's not. We had an idea years ago, and we've been doing it for years. Then some arsehole rocks up and goes, I'm just going to take that name. And I say, hey, because this is the thing. When I go to launch anything, and I'm a copywriter, so I've done this with brands, I've done this with clients of that. When I go to propose a name for anything, the biggest thing, I've done this with band names in the past and whatever it is, channel names. Yeah. So much research to make sure I don't steal someone's name, because I hate the idea of that. I hate the idea of being accused of being plagiaristic. I hate the idea of being unoriginal. I hate the idea that somebody's going to look at me and think, well, he just stole that from someone else. And so when we launched a few years ago, someone messaged us saying, hey, I've already got a YouTube channel called Sassy as Fuck. And I feel like yours is a bit too close an overlap. I would be so apologetic. I would change the name immediately, and I would address it, and I'd apologize, and I would just I'd own it, because that's a mistake on my part. So it fucks me off that somebody's aware of it and just goes, nah, it's fine. Sure, we've got the same podcast name, and I stole your logo, but fuck it.
It's crazy. I suppose it's because maybe it's because we both work in marketing. Maybe it's because we've both got that experience that it's just like, if we create something that is copied from something else, we have failed to provide.
It's not original. It's not creative at that point. We're creatives, And a podcast, as you know, there's so many podcasts out there, I know right now, but it's still a creative endeavor. We still worked hard to come up with a good name and to invite on good guests and have good conversations and to have a good logo. Like I said, now we've got a really good logo. Before it was fine. But we've worked hard and iterating those things to be as best as we can. And so it just feels shitty when someone comes and steals it and doesn't care that they've stolen. Like, even if it's a coincidence, which is so unlikely considering the logo as well. But even if it is a coincidence, you know, or maybe it's like an intern stole it and didn't think it found out, whatever it is, have the decency to just own it and go, oh, I'll change it then. That's not, you know, I'm stepping on your toes, or we're going to confuse people. And I've already mentioned it, and someone went, oh, I thought that was yours. I was like, fuck. That's so annoying that that's already happening. People might already be going and listening to their podcast instead of ours, which I'm not listening to their podcast, but I assume it's shitter, right? Because it's not got us on it.
I would hate to listen to it for the one reason of, if it is better, I think that would crumble.
It can't be better, Alex. It can't be better. And also, I think I might cry if I heard someone else saying hello and welcome to Sassy as Fuck. That would hurt my soul.
What if they did the Bon Appetit? What if they took the kind of like the kind of their identity, the core thing? What if it is two people called John and Alex that are hosting it? It's madness.
Although I do love that when you search Sassy Fuck, all of our stuff comes up first, and there's going to be eventually on the bottom there. They have no rating. So no one's listening to their podcast. People are listening to ours. Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan's not. Oh, what if? Oh my god! If it turns out that Dan's listening to.
What if my mum's been listening to the wrong podcast all this time?
I nearly went then. I nearly went straight backwards off my chair. You nearly watched me just smash into my guitar.
You okay?
Oh, I smashed my elbow against the wall as well.
Oh gosh.
It's fine. I'm okay. Why is my lighting?
Okay.
Why am I really blue all of a sudden? What's going on? Is that the problem?
We could fix it in post.
Can we? If I just change the settings, it's going to fuck up continuity, isn't it?
Yeah, but who cares? Who cares about continuity?
I mean, you do, don't you? That's kind of
100%. It does upset me, but it's fine.
I think that's probably. So yeah, you've got that nice white line as well again.
Yeah. That's all right. Okay. Well, okay. So at the end of this, we're setting up a GoFundMe for the court cases that we'll be taking against Sassy AF. And at the same time, any extra money that goes towards it will contribute towards this stupid light problem I've got. So if you would like to support us, go to gofundme.com/fucksassyassfuck, but not this sassy as fuck.
Okay, there might be some confusion there again. I feel like this is the problem, is that now because this thing, I don't want to sue them.
Yeah.
I want to make it clear that either Aaron Gibson is a plagiarizing piece of shit. Okay. Or he'll change his name, right? There's one of two things. Either he is happy being scum, or he'll just change it, and that's really his choice. And that is, I was about to very maturely say, and that's the last I'll speak on the matter, but it's not.
No,
because it fucking winds me up that I hate plagiarism so much.
Yeah.
And this arsehole knows he's using her name and he doesn't care. And that pisses me off.
It's so wonderful because your approach is it's kind of like, I'm not going to take any action for it, but I just hope that he makes the right decision. So each day you're going to wake up and go, he's not done it yet.
Yeah.
It's still happening.
Yeah. Do you want to hear something as well? So just... So the about bit on his podcast is not another inspirational bullshit business bro podcast. And then he goes...
That's clearly defamation.
And then, welcome to Sass AF, the no holds barred podcast where tech meets sass. But he wrote sass at the end there, SASS.
Oh man!
So I don't really understand. And I assume it's an AI generated description, probably. From the latest innovations and news in Silicon Valley to the unfiltered truths about building a startup, Sassy AF or Sassy AF? Sassy AF delivers unfiltered insights. We're talking no buzzwords, no corporate fluff, just real conversations about what's working and what's not. Discussing everything from VC drama to industry trends, partnered with Irish cynicism and humour. Plus, we'll occasionally give our 2 cents on topics like pop culture, self-improvement, and the other... Self-improvement? He said it's not a bullshit business bro podcast.
Right, yeah. Go on, let it out. Let it out.
But now he's saying he's doing self-improvement and the oddities of modern life.
Yeah.
I think it's just utter shit, innit? It's just, you know... They don't even know what they are. They don't even know what they're doing here. Where tech meets SaaS, but it's SaaS as in SASS, not SAAS. What does that mean? Did they just spell sassy wrong?
It's just what they've got is they've got like a bunch of software engineers and they're just writing, all of it is coded really beautifully, but in the comments is just some really like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You did a for loop. Idiot.
So, yeah, this is, yeah, that's the story of someone stealing our podcast. And, you know, it's been grinding at us both for months.
Yeah, but if you'd like to subscribe to Sassy as Fuck, the website is... I'm joking.
To be clear, if you're looking for this one, if you're say you're listening to a clip online or for that, we'll get to that shortly. Yeah. We're the one with a really cool logo with the pink, and it's got like a computer wearing headphones, and it's Sassy as Fuck podcast. And it's really cool and well done. The other one looks like a toddler did it using MS Paint. That's the differentiator. I know I'm throwing shade at myself 3 years ago, but I'll take that. So basically, there's a good one and a bad one. One's got a 4.6 star rating, and the other one's got no listeners. So, you know, just leave it at that.
4.6 star rating?
Did you not know that? 4.6 stars. 10. We've got 10 reviews on Spotify, and a 4.6 star rating.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Yeah.
We're
doing. This isn't. People do listen to this, Alex. You seem surprised every time, but some people do listen.
I am really shocked because I do think that, I don't know, maybe it's kind of my own like self-critical nature of things, but I always think, oh yeah, but they're listening to John because he's funny. I'm just the kind of the go-between, the entertainment. I'm the person that just edits it a little bit and then, you know.
No, you're a fully fledged co-host in this endeavor.
I'm out of the box. You know,
I even let you ask questions to guests sometimes. That's how important you are now to this.
And it angers you to no end, and it's enjoyable for that. I get a lot of joy from that.
Well, I mean, that's, you know, I think you think about like people like, I don't know, Messi, one of the best footballers in the world. He has to play with teammates, right? He can't just play by himself. Are those teammates going to be as good at him? Of course not. You know, and I'm sure he's had some teammates that are awful teammates, but he has pulled them up with his ability and helped them achieve more. And that's really what we're doing here, is that I am the Lionel Messi of Sassy as Fuck,
okay.
and you're like a substitute goalkeeper or something that's kind of come in and you're still on the team. Technically, we're even. Everyone knows we're not, but when it comes to the team sheets, same level.
Our names are still on the shirts of that team. It's just that I'm the person that has to pass you the ball. You're the person who wins every time.
Yes.
But I'm the person that gives you the ball.
Are the fans just there to see Messi? Sure. But he couldn't do what he does without having some teammates there too. So that's... I don't know if that helps you feel better about your role on the podcast.
Now, this is a really rough episode. We've got... You know, questioning my identity, getting it all like, am I original? And then now I'm like, well, you're just the subpar football player, and in a reference that I don't get. You know? You know?
Fair enough. Do you want me to make it an American football reference as well to then match? You know, my hat and t-shirt today, which just made me look.
I'm really worried that we might magnetize the Joe Rogan listeners in at this point, and I want them to really know that we're on that kind of thing.
We're two slightly camp middle class boys from England. I don't think they'd get that far in unless it's muted without realizing that we're not for them.
Yeah. Well, I imagine from the clips of this, people are going to be very confused as to what's going on, because obviously, like on the social side of things, everything's muted most of the time anyway. It's very rare that you've got something full, but unless you're like that, you're those types of people that are on the bus playing loud music, kind of like of LinkedIn or TikTok or whatever, and then just we pop up, and it's the Camp British podcast.
That for some reason is named after a software as a service, despite the fact that when it's just us two, especially, we rarely talk about software as a service. But that good segue there, Alex. You've done that well.
Thank you.
Because the first one,
I passed you the ball.
You did pass me the ball.
I'm non-messying.
Maybe leave the analogy behind.
Sorry,
I'm not sure you're
Yeah.
qualified to really pick that up. So the first thing on the list was podcast theft. Cross that off. So we're now on TikTok, Alex.
We are on TikTok, yeah,
and we are doing surprisingly well, really, all things considered. Because I think we went, we'll post them to TikTok. It's good, help get some more people aware of what we're doing and the podcast, get more listeners. And what surprises the most is that people seem to be watching the videos, and it's not, we're not saying that we're doing amazing, but we're consistently getting nearly 1,000 views every video at the moment, and that's only 5 videos, and that's quite rare. People don't normally get that many views.
No,
out the gate.
No,
so I think that's pretty impressive for us.
Yeah,
well done us.
Especially not at the start of things. I often see with TikTok accounts that they're kind of locked in at 50 to 100, and then it takes 20 videos, and then the algorithm kind of starts pushing a bit more influence. But that's just the mad world of the algorithm. I don't know if that means that it's changing in that way. Maybe that intro accounts are suddenly getting a bit more influencing factor. I don't know. But I mean, it's really good to say that we're at the 800. And often what I found with like content like this is that it will ramp up huge for like you'll blow up at a point and then it'll drop down again, because it's kind of gone, oh no, this is wrong. We got it wrong. I'm sorry. Let's adjust. But yeah, it feels like it's almost to the 1,000 consistently. That's fantastic.
Which is, it's absolutely lovely. And because I love TikTok. This is the thing. I know I'm 38 in like 2 weeks, whatever it is. And so I know to a lot of people, I'm probably too old for TikTok. I should get back to Facebook and post memes about how the good old days used to be. But I love TikTok. It's my favorite social media platform. I have a lot of people there, and there's a lot of social justice on there, a lot of cooking, a lot of dog videos, a lot of just funny stuff on there that I really like and stuff. And so I like doing like better. I like being a presence on there because it's a platform I like, but I think I've always been a bit intimidated by it. I don't like podcast clips are pretty popular on there, but I do always kind of feel like I should be a bit more like TikTok-y with things. But it's good. I'm glad we're on there now, and I'm glad we're doing. And if we get one extra listener from posting to TikTok, then it's worth it.
But yeah, it's also just kind of one of those things to just kind of give out to the community that you like. It's kind of if you support it, then and you're providing content for it, then you're supporting that kind of side of things. I always find TikTok weird because there's just so many different types of content that's on there that it's this huge an amorphous blob of what I found is that I'll get excited by a transition or something that's done in a video or a camera thing, and then because I've looked at that, I then get sent that for like the next 300 videos is just some like peculiar transition that I'm like, I'm not really into koi ponds, but now because I've looked at that one clip about the koi pond, TikTok's gone, we'll have you, and it's fine. I don't mind that, but it's always just a bit weird. But then my exposure to it is often I use it for work, not for entertainment. Yeah. So because
I use it more for entertainment, I think it's more tailored to do, which is why it's so funny when any like people like, well, it's just young girls dancing on TikTok. Like that's targeted at what you've interacted with. They gave you a bunch of things, and that's the thing that you watch, and so it keeps giving you more. You're just kind of telling on yourself by saying that. But TikTok is a very obviously, and let's bring it back to SaaS. So a lot of SaaS companies are shit at TikTok. They don't understand it at all. They think, I don't know, if they think of it as mini adverts, I think is how most SaaS marketers approach TikTok. They're like, okay, we need to create 5 1-minute commercials every week. And one of them will go viral if it's funny or it's wacky or things like that. And that's not in any way what it is. That's not what's useful. People don't, if you're paying for that ad to be shown to people, sure, people might watch it, but probably not. You need to give actual value to actually get people to give a shit. And value comes in all different ways. Value could be entertainment, genuine entertainment. It could be in information. It could be useful. There's a microphone company. I want to say Rode. I might be wrong. But one of them has got a really good entertaining TikTok channel where it's about mics, but it's not. They're actually personable and informative and things like that. And that's something that people do better at doing. ClickUp have a very good social media thing because they make well-produced sketches effectively. They'll create like caricatures of corporate characters and they'll do like, it's effectively well-written comedy for TikTok for that. But most SaaS companies just go, okay, if we just talk about our new feature, with our new AI, you'll be able to generate projects by just clicking a button and it'll look at your face via the webcam and it'll decide what your project's going to be based on your body language at that moment. And no one gives a shit. But doing genuine value or just being genuinely entertaining is what you need to do. And it's much better just give one intern a camera phone and TikTok and go, just fucking fuck around and just post as many things as you can. Yeah, that's going to be more successful than like paying to have like a ridiculously well-produced thing of your CEO doing a demo of your latest feature.
The thing that grinds my gears with that is in the video side of things when it was quite clearly a horizontal wide video.
Yeah.
And they've just tried to squeeze it into. Fair enough if you've got limitations and that stuff, that's fine. But you can. It's weird. It's not genuine. It's like obviously Duolingo and those kinds of people. They're very switched on with how can we create something that has a narrative throughout it or gets you a little bit interested in it. That it doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be dancing and that kind of thing. But it could just be something that's genuine content that doesn't feel like content churn of everyone's doing TikTok. So let's jump to that, or even other short form video like Instagram, LinkedIn. They all have those kind of different elements to that kind of short form quick hook to prevent you from swiping. But it's mad. It's mad to see so many people that kind of just jump to this whole. Well, we've got loads of videos. Let's just squish it and then just release it. Let's do an explainer video that's 3 minutes long. That surely everybody would be interested in.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it feels like people are making TikToks who have never used TikTok. It's how it feels to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. Maybe I think in a lot of cases, probably marketers probably do, but they have been told, as we all know, there are sometimes people who are more senior who think they know best and don't. And there's probably a lot of that going on as well, where they're like, oh no, just do this thing, or this worked on YouTube, so do it here as well. Yeah. Or, well, no one's going to give a shit about this. But people want to have a reason to watch a second video.
Yeah.
So focusing on the people that work there, focusing on the customers, and I say this about any client I work with when it comes to creating content. Find the person who's the most passionate, engaging and charismatic and just point a camera at them. And then from that, you can make TikToks, you can make blog posts, newsletters. They'll tell stories that are genuinely useful and engaging. Yeah. If you just get you hire an actor to play, unless you hire an actual comedian, then you're just wasting your time. Jen, who was on the last episode, 2 episodes ago, maybe. Yeah, depends what order we put these out. But Jenny Gartois, so she makes videos. I don't know if she posts them on TikTok or not, but she posts them on LinkedIn, and they are genuinely funny. And she told us in our interview that she has comedians work on it. Her boyfriend thinks is a professional comedian, and he's got friends, and they they work on it together. It's not corporate trying to be funny. It's actual funny people writing funny material.
Mm.
And then it's going to be good. So her videos are worth watching. And I'm excited about the next one I see of hers because they're actually funny and entertaining. Whereas most funny in corporate marketing is just not funny at all. It's just, I don't know. It's just people doing an impression of somebody from The Office 20 years ago or some bullshit like that. Or it's, they're making jokes about their customer or April. Oh, we just had April Fools.
Oh, damn.
I fucking hate corporate April Fools gags because they're not funny. No. They're just utter bullshit. They think their customers give more of a shit about their company than anyone does. They'll like make some announcement. Oh, we're adding this funny feature. Like, why are you wasting your time? It's not a funny thing. It was funny when Google did it 15 years ago when they're like, oh, now you can use Google Maps to, whatever. Like they've had a few in the past. There's been interesting ones. That was a long time ago. Stop trying to be funny. Stop making bullshit announcements. Stop announcing stupid non-products that somebody thought was funny. 99% of them are not funny at all.
No.
So just fucking stop. The only one I saw that I liked this year was the Met Office, who not in the UK. That's the people who predict the weather. Yep. They're scientists. They're not just guessing at the weather. I was looking outside it, but they announced their new product, The Window. And basically the whole thing, it was basically a passive-aggressive video where they shit on people who have criticised them, basically saying, oh, I'd have better luck just looking out the window. Fine. I like the passive-aggressiveness of it, and it was a good little referencing, and it was harmless. But for every one of those, you have so many shit things where people think they're hilarious or they announce stuff, and it's just... it just means you can't believe a fucking word anyone says for a day.
Yeah. It's that one day where everything's built up that you're just thinking, oh, I want to check the news or something on your phone, or let's say you're scrolling through TikTok or social media, whatever. You're having your own like personal time, and it's already ruined. You feel like, oh well, what's the point in just having a nice relax and just checking on my phone for something? Because you just feel like, and then even that, the tail off of it, the next couple of days, you're thinking, oh, I don't know if this is real or not. It's just like the most pointless and egregious time of like checking out a company that you might like, and it's like, oh, I really hope that it is. But one of my favorite things is when you look at the past of dumb April Fool's jokes that have actually come true with that company. Like they've done something 10 years ago and they're like, isn't this funny? And then they've actually done it because it was either because the customers or the audience actually were saying, please can we do this? And it just but it drives me mad, because I think the problem is if you're using social media, and I know that this isn't like a social media podcast, but it's still something that's
we cover a lot of marketing stuff here, and we both work in marketing, so it makes sense.
Please, for the love of everything, if you're not funny, don't be funny. Like I don't like it's fine if you're not funny, but and again to John's point of like the most passionate person is probably going to be the person that everyone cares about. Everybody's like, wait, so you want somebody to wave the flag and everyone like goes, yeah. Viva la revolution, just kind of like going straight in for it because it's exciting. It doesn't have to be passionate. You don't have to cry. You don't have to be like, dying because it's so impactful or laughing your socks off. It could just be somebody that you care. And often it's the business owner that does it. And that's the person that's the leader who is charismatic enough to lead, who's confident enough to get a point and be passionate. But they always shill it off to that young upstart who's 18 years old who, horrendously scrolls TikTok, so kind of knows a thing or two. And then they're like, oh yeah, represent our brand now. And it's just insanity to ever get to that point. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's just people, like, I want to reiterate the point of, if you're not funny, don't try and be funny. I think it's something that is always the biggest problem a lot of people have, is that people see funny things do well and think, I must do that. No. If your strength is humour, play to that strength. If your strength is you can explain complex topics in an accessible way, do that. If your strength is hiring somebody else who is actually entertaining or is engaging or can talk better, or can like present information better, do that. I just, you don't need to be funny because your competitor's funny or because you've seen, like I had someone come to me and was like, oh, I'm a big fan of, the fuck is that newsletter? That's annoying. There's a newsletter.
Yeah,
and they have a good TikTok presence as well. They hire a guy called something Bloomy or something.
Okay.
Daily. Oh, fuck. This is really awful. This story. I
tell you what we'll do. We're gonna do this just for the hilarity of it. Is you're gonna say this newsletter, and then we'll just, when you come back and you find it, we'll just put that in post and we'll cut it all out, and it'll be like, haha, that was a funny joke. That wasn't well expressed, but you know.
By the way, even the way you said that, then like I think you didn't believe it.
I kind of thought of the work, you know, because we're trying to streamline things. Whilst John's going through his kind of like panic search, and he's lost the identity of it, and he's going to at one point shout it out midway. No, I'm going to stop.
I'm not going to ruin this by getting into that. I think we've said what we meant to say about this, is that, you know, brands need to be better at creating content and not just make faux funny shite or try and be something they're not. Play to your strengths is the point.
And you don't need to be viral. Like,
no.
Who gives a fuck about viral? Like, you got viral once, but then what do you do after that? You can't just go, oh, we just got 300,000 people just check out our video. Isn't that cool? You got no link clicks. You got no call to action. You just got fuck all there. Then what are you doing? It's kind of like, you can create a viral thing. And, you know, obviously the argument could be that, well, you're not viral, so you don't know. But I know the damage that it can have, that if you buy 300,000 followers for your social media channel and you don't post actually valuable stuff, the account's dead. There's nothing you can really do, because the algorithm just knows that you're a poor performer. If you end up going viral for a bit, you will then afterwards be considered poor performer if you're not able to keep that kind of ball rolling with whatever you've got. So it doesn't matter if you're viral or not. Just do consistent stuff that you care about, and something will happen, right? Something will happen, right, John?
Yes. Yes, it will. Hey, should we call this one episode?
The end of part one.
End of part one. So thank you for joining us.